Good evening and welcome to beautiful St. Catherine Hall. We are at St. Catherine, Kentucky, just outside of Springfield in Washington County, where we bring you tonight, Who Will Lead Us? I am Hal B. Good with Country 100.9 WLSK. I'll be assisting and moderating this event this evening with our local media from the area, the Springfield Sun and Channel 6 TV, who I will introduce in just a few moments. Our forum this evening will feature the remainder of our candidates that we did take place last week with our magistrates and district judges, the remainder of those running for office in Washington County we will be hearing from tonight. Before we begin, we would like to thank our sponsors who did help coordinate this event and sponsor the live broadcast. They do include the Springfield Washington County Chamber of Commerce, Rose Bookkeeping, the Democratic Women's Club of Washington County, the Washington County Democratic Committee, and the Dominican Sisters of Peace, who are providing the venue. Join me in thanking all those individuals this evening. If you would now rise, we would like to have the presentation of our colors from the Washington County Boy Scouts, who are joined this evening by Washington County Judge Executive John Settles with our pledge. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. As you are being seated, let's again give a round of applause for the Washington County Boy Scouts and our Washington County Judge Executive John Settles. Thanks to both of them for being a part of that. Next, we'd like to invite to the podium on behalf of St. Catherine. Here is Sister Barbara Sullivan. Sister?
Thank you, Hal. I just want to welcome everyone to St. Catherine Hall and tell you how pleased we are to have this event here for an opportunity to everybody to share their ideas and perceptions about the needs and what they have to bring to Washington County and to our state. It's very gratifying to know there are so many good people who are willing to provide public service for us. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sister Barbara. Now welcome to the podium Diane Sims, the President of the Democratic Women's Club of Washington County.
Thanks, Hal. Welcome. On behalf of the Democratic Women's Club, I would like to thank the Dominican Sisters of Peace for this beautiful venue and the other three sponsors, the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, Pat Rose Bookkeeping, and the Washington County Democratic Committee. Thank you. We have got, I'd like briefly to mention the committee, the Forum Committee. And as I call your name, will you please stand and be recognized? Sister Marilyn, Mary Bridget, Belle Sutton, Nell Hayden, Julie Jones, Susan Simpson, Beth Gore, Betty Brookfield, and myself. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you, Diane. And now we'll welcome to the podium the 2018 Distinguished Young Woman of Washington County. Here is Sarah Downs.
This is a piece I prepared for the state program this year in January about Springfield. Being the county seat of the first county established in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Springfield has its fair share of presidential history. Although Confederate President Jefferson Davis studied at the St. Rose Priory, Lincoln's legacy is what's most well known about my town. President Lincoln's parents were married in Springfield in one of the oldest working courthouses in the nation. Being named after our first president, I am proud to be Sarah Downs, the Distinguished Young Woman of Washington County.
We want to thank all of the media that we've been able to put together to help us bring this not only to the huge crowd who is here at St. Catherine Hall, but also those who are listening on 100.9 WLSK, those who will be watching on TV6, and those that will be reading about this in the Springfield Sun, our local media. We do want to thank WLSK FM this evening. Our engineer that's on site is Chris Hill. Join me in thanking Chris Hill. Chris, thank you for being here this evening. Gary White with Channel 6 TV has been instrumental in being a partner with us on this evening. Brandon Kurtzinger is on staff this evening, and Brandon, thank you. Join me in thanking him. And last and definitely not least, it's been great to work with Jeff Moreland over the past several years, and Jeff is going to go over some of the ground rules this evening about what we are going to be anticipating from those candidates and how we are going to handle tonight's event. But we do appreciate the Springfield Sun for their coverage of the local news, and here is Jeff Moreland, who is with the Springfield Sun. Jeffrey?
Good evening. We'd like to remind everyone that this forum requires a respectful, considerate tone. It is not a venue to vent frustrations. The purpose of the forum is to highlight what each candidate will do if elected to office. It's not an opportunity to point out faults of anybody who's running against you or anybody who currently seats in office. Once we begin the introduction and question period, candidates will approach the microphone, address the audience, and later answer one question from our panel. Candidates will have 3 minutes to expand on their political platform. The timer will give a 30-second warning before the end of the 3-minute period. And at that point, a bell will ring at the end of the 3 minutes, and the candidate will have to be seated. At the conclusion of the forum, any candidate who wishes to remain outside the building and speak with the public, answer questions, is more than welcome to do that. So if you have an opportunity to grab someone afterwards, if you have more questions, feel free if that candidate wishes to stay after. We thank you all for being here and appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Finally, just a couple of real quick ground rules. If you do have a cell phone, please put it on silent or turn it off. As respect for our candidates, we're going to ask for silence during the program this evening, and I think you'll agree with me, these candidates deserve that token of appreciation. If you're going to have a conversation, please just leave the room. There are hallways here where you could do that here at St. Catherine Hall. We don't want any disruptions. We don't want any side conversations going on. We will stop the program if that's necessary because, again, I think you'll agree with me, these candidates do deserve that dignity about this program this evening. So we ask for your also your silence while our candidates are speaking and answering their questions. Again, running for public office in this venue, it's an awesome opportunity for them to be able to have this program, but we want to make sure they're heard. We want to make sure they're able to take their questions and be respected because, again, I think these candidates definitely deserve it. So I think now we're ready to get underway. We will be introducing all of our candidates for the evening, and we've asked for your attention, and I think we have gave you several ground rules that we're kind of looking for from the evening. But this is a great time for you to not only give an applause for your candidate, but also give them a cheer as we go and introduce them. And it's a great time for you to show recognition for your candidate. So how about we start this evening, and we'll bring them to the stage. Join me in welcoming Kentucky State Senate District Number 22, incumbent Republican Tom Buford.
Democratic candidate Carolyn DuPont.
Kentucky State Legislature House District Number 55, Democrat Kathy Carter.
And Republican incumbent Kim King. Ms. King's not with us this evening.
County Judge Executive, Democrat William Bud Blair.
Democrat Timothy E. Graves.
Democrat Richard, better known as Richie Hamilton.
Republican David L. Purdom.
And Democrat Billy Riney.
And now your candidates for Washington County Sheriff, your Democratic incumbent Jerry Pinkston.
Here is Democrat Chris Smith.
Candidates for Washington County Clerk, Democrat William B. Billy Abel.
Democrat Jonathan Jones.
Democrat Tony Mann.
Democrat Teresa Marion.
Democrat Sherry A. Osborne.
And now here are your candidates for Washington County Jailer. Republican Joe T. Mudd.
Democrat Michael Smith.
And for the office of Washington County Attorney, incumbent Democrat Bill Robinson. Join me in a round of applause for all of our participants here this evening. As Jeff went over a few moments ago, our first round will be that 3-minute round where our participants this evening will be able to tell you about themselves and also about their platform. So let's begin. We'll begin with Kentucky State Senate District Number 22. Here's incumbent Republican Tom Buford.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be as brief as possible because I know you all have other things that you want to get to, and they're sitting right behind me. I want to thank everyone for coming out here tonight. The Democrat Women's Group here in Washington County, how nice. Hal, thanks for taking over, and you all MCing, and the sisters for allowing us to use your facility here. My upbringing is very simple. My mother and father met in England. She was a war bride from England. They came over here. I was born in 1949. I've done different things after graduating from the University of Kentucky. working in banks for many years, then as a home builder, also doing apartments and some land development. But I guess in my career, of all things, the proudest moments in my life are my marriage to my wife Carol and my 2 children and now 2 grandchildren. That is the most exciting thing. That is what causes me to come into public service and try to make this a better state, a better nation, and to serve the people of this state, this Commonwealth, and especially also, as you are here, Washington County. Thank you.
Kentucky State Senate District number 22, incumbent Republican Tom Buford.
And now, Kentucky State Senate District number 22, Democratic candidate Carolyn DuPont.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the sponsors for this event, and thank you for all the work that goes into putting together an event like this. I'm Carolyn DuPont, and I've taught American history at Eastern Kentucky University for 14 years. And so it's probably not an accident that my decision to run for office has its roots in history, and in fact, in my own family's history. My grandmother was raised by an illiterate father and a semi-literate mother. She did a little bit better for herself and got an 8th grade education and became a teacher in East Texas one-room schoolhouses. But her daughter, my mother, was able to go to good public schools, and in 1955, she graduated from Baylor University College of Medicine, one of only 6 women in her class. And perhaps many of you have a story that's similar to that, where your family in just a few generations was able to completely change their outlook. And I'm running because my roots have taught me to believe in a Kentucky where opportunity is real and meaningful, and in a Kentucky where government can and does do good, and in a Kentucky where we connect with one another out of our common humanity, not where we dominate and exploit one another. And that's the kind of Kentucky I want to help create. To create that kind of Kentucky, it's going to take several things. One of the most important is investing generously in public education from pre-K through higher ed. It's going to take broad and sweeping tax reform so that Kentucky has the revenue to do the things it needs to do. It's also going to take confronting our terrible opioid crisis that takes from us in 1 year more Kentuckians than we lost in the entire Vietnam War. And related to that, it's going to take criminal justice reform so that we are not taking people away from their children, destroying families, and putting an excessive financial burden on our state, county, and local resources. I asked for your vote in November to help me create this kind of Kentucky because the 22nd District needs a strong leader with a clear vision and the proactive ability to bring this vision to pass. Thank you very much.
Okay. And now, that was Democratic candidate Kathy Carter. Sorry, pardon me, Carolyn DuPont.
Okay, let me make the introduction, please, and we'll get this started for you, Kathy. We're fine. Now, the Kentucky State Legislative House District number 55. We have with us Democrat. Here is Kathy Carter.
My name is Kathy Carter, and I'm running for the House of Representatives in 55th District. I'm a 30-year veteran in education who served as a special needs teacher, ARC chair, learning specialist, middle and high school counselor. I'm a Mercer County resident, a cradle Catholic, oldest of 4 children, each of whom currently work in the field of education as director of a family resource center, 4th grade teacher, and physical education teacher in the high school. My dad's a retired revenue worker, and my mom is a retired central office classified employee. As I became more involved with grassroots organizations, it became apparent that Frankfort is broken and in desperate need of bipartisan leadership for all people of this Commonwealth. As your representative, I specifically want to address the following issues. I want to continue the fight to repair the damage inflicted upon public employees' pensions due to efforts by conservative activists, which are about ideology more so than finance. I will continue to fight to fully fund health care and seek solutions to address the opioid epidemic in Kentucky. I will continue the fight to repeal legislation that is harmful to working families of this state, which also includes working to reform comprehensive, progressive, and equitable tax reform for all Kentuckians. I will continue the fight to protect employee benefits and object to legislation with goals to dismantle employee protections, such as the right to earn a decent living wage and work in a safe environment. I will continue the fight against the assault on public education by working to repeal charter school legislation and any other proposals that take tax dollars away from our public schools. I want to tell all constituents of this district that I will respond to your emails, tweets, phone calls, and Facebook posts in a professional, respectful, and timely manner to the best of my ability. This seat belongs to the people of Mercer, Washington, and part of Jessamine counties. If elected, I will do what is best for each of our county's constituents. Thank you.
Kentucky State House District number 55, Kathy Carter.
And now, candidates for Washington County Judge Executive, Democratic candidate William Bud Blair.
I'm Bud Blair, and I want to thank everyone that organized and hosting this event tonight. I came to Washington County when I was 15 years old to work on a farm one day. And I worked good, and they told me I could work the rest of the summer if I wanted to for $6 a day. So how could you turn down such a lucrative opportunity? So I did. When I graduated from high school, I leased a 230-acre farm, purchased the cattle and equipment, and attended St. Catherine College part-time. When I was 21, I had one full-time employee and as many as over 20 part-time employees, and I was raising 10 times the amount of tobacco the average farmer in Kentucky raised at that time. When I was 23, I purchased my first farm, and in the next 11 years, I purchased 4 more farms totaling over 1,400 acres. The first farm I leased and the first 4 farms I bought, I borrowed 100% of the purchase price as well as money to buy cattle and equipment and operating. I tell you these things because I have a history in finance. I know how to manage money. When I came to Washington County, I was giving something that everyone deserves to have, and that was opportunity. These opportunities have allowed me to serve on many diverse boards over the years and has enabled me to travel to many foreign countries, to international meetings. I'm a whole lot better at doing things than talking about what I do. Of all the farm loans and everything I've ever done, I've never been denied a loan in my life, and I've never missed a payment. When I was 35 years old, I was the Kentucky Young Farmer of the Year, and I've been told I'm an opportunist. I recognize opportunity, and I seek opportunity. I currently own all my farmland is owned 100% by me. I have no partners. I currently have over 900 head of cattle, raise corn, soybeans, wheat, calf, hay, and straw. If elected to this position, I will lease out all my cropland and sell most of my cattle. I've been advised to keep a few because I would like to hang around with my cows after working with the public all day. We have responsibilities to anticipate the future of Washington County. I have a vision for the future of Washington County for my grandchildren, even though I don't have grandchildren, but I hope to, not too long. And I will work to do what I need to do and go where I need to go to create opportunity for the people of Springfield and Washington County. Thank you.
That was Democratic candidate for County Judge Executive, William Bud Blair.